Hi, welcome to the Romeo and Juliet prologue reading and analysis. Two households, both alike in dignity, in fair Verona, where we lay our scene. From ancient grudge break to new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. From forth the fatal loins of these two foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their life, whose misadventured piteous overthrows doth with their death bury their parent strife. The fearful passage of their death-marked love, and the continuance of their parents' rage, which but their death's end not could remove, is now 2 hours' traffic of our stage, the which if you with patient ears attend, what here shall miss, our toil shall strive to mend. So lines 1 through 4 state, two households, both alike in dignity, in fair Verona where we lay our scene. From ancient grudge break to new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. We can see here that we have an A-B rhyme scheme. We have dignity and mutiny, and we have scene and unclean. When we go more into the meaning line by line, we can see that line 1 tells us that there are two households of equal status, economic situation, and importance. So we're already given a baseline of these households are about the same. Line 2 tells us that in Verona, which is a town in Italy, and the second part tells us that this play is about two households. It also brings up sort of existentially that yes, this is a play meant to be performed as a play in a play. Line 3 tells us that this old conflict is now causing new issues because line 3 says, from ancient grudge break to new mutiny. So from something that happened a long time ago, we are having these new issues come up. Line 4 tells us that the sin of the town is caused by the shedding of blood of other townsfolk. And we are immediately introduced into this in Scene 1, Act 1, where we start off the play in a bloody fight. Lines 5 through 8 say, from forth the fatal loins of these two foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their life, whose misadventured piteous overthrows doth with their death bury their parents' strife. So when we go to the line-by-line breakdown of this one, line 5 tells us that born from these two feuding households, and line 6 tells us that two people, which are Romeo and Juliet, were fated to be together and took their life. Line 7 emphasizes that Romeo and Juliet's death was untimely and tragic. Line 8 tells us that the death of Romeo and Juliet undid all of the issues of our past generations. So if we go back to lines 5 through 8, we're told that this was fated to happen in order to get rid of all of this conflict within the two families. Next we have lines 9 through 12, which say, the fearful passage of their death-marked love, and the continuance of their parents' rage, which but their children's end not could remove, is now 2 hours' traffic of our stage. So here we automatically see the rhyme scheme of love and remove, which sound odd, and then we have rage and stage. When we go into our line-by-line breakdown, we see that line 9 says basically that this is a horrifying story about Romeo and Juliet. Lines 10 and 11 tell us that their parents' feud couldn't have been stopped by anything but their children's death. And line 12 just simply tells us that this play is going to be about 2 hours. Our final couplets, lines 13 to 14, say, the which if you with patient ears attend, what here shall miss, our toil shall strive to mend. When we go into our line-by-line breakdown, you see that line 13 tells us that if you carefully listen with patience, line 14 continues that our actors will do their best to fill in what you have missed. Because lines 1 through 11 are basically telling the whole story of Romeo and Juliet. There was a lot of grudges between their families. We are told that they were born from these rivaling families, that they were fated to be together, and then they died. And that is the whole story of Romeo and Juliet. And I love that this prologue manages to sum it all up into 14 amazing lines. Finally, we have our summary. So our main themes that we see in this prologue are death, love, enemies, and tragedies. So like I said, this whole thing is summed up by they were born, they fell in love, and they died. So those are really our only themes within this sonnet. We have a total of A-B-A-B rhyme scheme, with our couplet at the end having an A-A rhyme scheme. I love this sonnet so much. I think that it is a beautiful work, and that it really should be viewed and analyzed more than it is. So, thank you for listening. I hope you have a wonderful day.